Wama Yabashima Sabashimuka Hakodasha Barakata, the honors on the apostles of Great Millstone, and honest you brothers to be pushing this truth in sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. I'm everybody out coming out here to give you this truth for the grace and mercy of Yahweh. Bashim Yahweh Shai, Bashimuka Hakodash. It's gonna be a relatively quick video, this one. And basically you're gonna see the technologies out here now being pushed towards surveillance, being pushed towards surveillance and observation of people's behavior and ultimately control. Okay, we've been telling you this for the longest. And as the brothers have said many a times, the CHIP is going to be the ultimate integration of all of these systems that we see throughout the four corners of the earth. Okay, the CHIP is going to be the ultimate integration of all of these systems that we see throughout the four corners of the earth, man. And we look forward to that particular day. But this here is another thing that they're going to use for the control of your devices, control of your energy, so-called energy uses. And I like to call this the anxiety box, because anytime you meet somebody that's got one of these in their house, that's what they do. They just look at this all day and hope the number is that they see on screen is great. And if you don't know what this is this is what they call a so-called smart meter. Okay, you notice everything is getting so-called smart now, meaning to say it's connected up to the internet, could be remotely accessed, and they could be remotely controlled, etc, etc, etc. A good example of these smart devices being remotely controlled is what they did with the phones. They had an emergency thing go out here within the UK, signal that went out there within the UK to basically tell people, look, this is what the signal is going to be like when shit hits the fan. So every phone within the UK about 2-3 months ago, it actually buzzed and made a noise to say, look, this is what's going to sound like. Instead of having the old school thing that you had a long time ago where you had the horns blur out when the war was playing out, or when during the Blitz when bombs were dropping. You actually had particular noises that they allowed within cities. They might be hidden by a monument or whatever. A stonemason's work might cover that particular device up, but when that alert goes out, you hear that alert. So they got these phone devices now, and they showed you, look, when shit hits the fan next time, this is what it's going to sound like. Another thing that comes to mind with these so-called smart devices is out there within the US, they had some issues with energy and during a heat wave or something like that. And they just remotely controlled the heat. They remotely controlled the, what do you call it? It's going to come to me. The aircon units. People aren't allowed to switch on the air conditioning units. They switch that off. So they're letting you know where they're going with this, man. They're letting you know where they're going with this. Okay, make smart meters mandatory. Make them mandatory, and we know what this is going to entail. They're getting you acclimatized to, let's say, 1 kilowatt hour of energy. That's your quarter. You got 1 kilowatt of energy. They're getting you acclimatized to that, and you're just watching that. Boom, you're finished. So really, most people that have these devices they use it, and they can tell down to the pennies how much energy they used for a particular activity. Boil the kettle, there's 2 pence. Or let's use the terms that they're going to use, kilowatt hours, right? You notice everything is going into kilowatt hours, even with the cars and everything. Right? This particular activity costs this much kilowatt hours. And obviously that's going to be linked up to what? To the CO2 footprint. That's going to be linked up to the CO2 footprint. And you're going to have so much CO2 footprints that you can use per month. Okay, so these things, when I see them, I just think how every time I see a piece of technology being pushed out there heavy, I just think how can this be integrated into the CHIP? That's what I think. Okay, that's how I think, and it's easy to see how this is going to be integrated into the CHIP, man. It's already linked up to the internet, right? It's already linked up to the CO2 propaganda  Just a case of having it to where people, okay, get their CHIP. That's it, man. So again, hopefully that was of edification. With that, I'm gonna say, all praises unto Yahweh Hashem Shai. Double honors unto the apostles, a great millstone. On your brothers to be pushing this truth in sincerity. Shalom.